Today, a rival recalibration of their scores, largely prompted by this glove. Hello and welcome to Fit to Box. I'm Coach Simon, and here on Fit to Box I bring you all things boxing equipment. As you know, on this channel not only do I review gloves and equipment, but I also score them, and I also on my website rank those scored products. So if it's gloves, I've got glove price divisions. The price divisions is put into an order, so you've got all the same price gloves lumped together in each of the divisions going up, and I've also got a pound for pound list for all the top gloves in the world. Now, one of the massive boxing brands out there is, of course, Rival, and over the years I love Rival's gear, and I've done many reviews when it comes to Rival. Now, in May 2019 I started scoring boxing gloves against each other, and around that time I scored a load of gloves for the first time, and now in 2026 I think it's time to give Rival that sort of recalibration of the scores on their scorecards, because since I have started doing the scoring, I have done loads and loads of different scores for different other gloves and brands, and what's happened is I can see that I just need to realign the scoring to make sure that I'm still very comfortable. I've done this in the past with Winning and also Reyes and also Grant not so long ago. So this glove here is a glove that has caused me the most headaches when it comes to scoring, and it's a really weird glove when you score it because it's got some great aspects to it, but it's also got some flaws to it as well. So if I just describe this is the RS100 gloves, and I did a review of these in March 2019. So that's actually before I started scoring. I sort of backtracked and I did a score because I'd recently done a review of it. So that score has been the same since, and now it is time to change it. So when it comes to this glove, you have got a synthetic glove, you've also got a very hard glove, you've also got a glove that has got on the front, you've got that sort of lining on the palm, you've got the synthetic leather, you've also got a glove that is super durable. These, in fact, if you look back at that review from March 2019, you will see these gloves, which is my mate's gloves, and these are the gloves that he has used for thousands and thousands of rounds on the bag and in sparring and on pads. Since then, he still uses them to this day, and as you can see from that, they're still in fantastic shape, and that's why I need to change the durability score of these gloves, because these are indestructible. So when I first scored them, let's go on to the style. I do think that these are a stylish glove. Okay, so I did a score for 95. Since then they've brought out some more colours, and so 96 I've gone for the score when it comes to style on these. Then it comes to comfort. These are a really comfortable glove. They're a bit stiff at first. The more you use them, the more they soften up. It really does take a tremendous amount of rounds to soften them up to the point where you would want to use them in sparring, and I'll come to the sparring score later. But certainly, as you use them, even after the testing period, I felt they were still a bit stiff, but because he's been using them all these years, they are definitely softer, and I think they're probably better now than they was after the testing period all those years ago. So again, what I've done with that is I've gone +1, they're now 96 instead of 95 on comfort. Then we come on to that durability. I've got to put these to 99 because these are tremendous, not only in that synthetic material, which I had a concern over when I did the review, but it has borne out that the super quality of that microfiber means that these are super durable. I also had a concern over that front mesh, but again, that's not turned out to be a problem at all. The mesh has been brilliant. It's a little dirty there, but as I say, these have been in use for 7 years, which is tremendous. There's a little bit of fading on the logo, but apart from that, these are in fantastic shape. So durability wise, I have gone 99 on the new score. Then I went 90 on sparring, which was a little low. The reason I went 90 on sparring, because at the time, these were super hard, and still now, they're still really, in comparison to a lot of gloves, they're still hard when it comes to that knuckle area, and because of that, I'm still going to score them quite low on sparring. They're going to score 92 as opposed to what they were 90, but that I do feel better about that. Now they are a softer glove for the sparring, even though it has took probably thousands and thousands of rounds to get there. So on the bag, I went 94. Again, I still feel that that's a valid score because there's a bit of a disconnect because it's so padded and it is so sort of fixed. I don't feel you get the feeling back from the bag that you do on many gloves. So 94, I think, is still a fair score. And then I've gone value for money +1 to 96. And the reason for that is obviously, if you want value for money because of how long they're going to last, I definitely think that they deserve an extra point. So what does that mean for the final score? That means that these particular gloves are now a 3-star glove. Okay, 3 stars, excellent. And I'm now super comfortable with that score. They used to be a 1 star, but the extra points that I've done through that process now mean that I think that these are an excellent glove. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the other gloves that I've scored for Rival. I'm going to go through them quickly. I'm not going to go through the individual scores. I'm going to bit of a highlight section for you in terms of the changes in the scores and what it's done. Because I did a rescore on these gloves, what happened, I had to look at all of the range of Rival ones to make sure that I was happy with the new scores for those and that it aligned with the other gloves in the Rival range. Once I'd done that, I had to make sure that I was happy with all of those scores against all the other brands and their gloves in all of the price divisions. All of the scores that I do in the training gloves, whether it's Velcro or lace, can be compared to each other, and that's the beauty of the cards. Okay, whether you've got a £20 glove or whether you've got a £1,000 glove, all the scores from style, comfort, durability, sparring, bag and value for money, they can be compared to each other. Okay, so I don't just come up with these scores off the top of my head. There's a tremendous amount of working out, going back and making sure that I am happy with the scores. So I've gone back in October 2021, this glove here, the Lace RS1 2.0, and with that glove, I've had a look at it. I'm happy with that scoring. I'm not going to change it at all. That still comes out at a 1-star, very good glove. Okay, so then let's have a look at this glove, the RS11V, which is a Velcro glove. And as you can see, that glove is now 2 stars, great. Then we go on to this glove, and this is the Lace RS1. And now, with the new scoring, that is now a 4-star, fit-to-box, outstanding glove. And then we come on to this glove, and this is the Lace P4P. And this, with the new scoring, now comes out at 5 fit-to-box stars, classified as the best, not only in the lace, but also in the Velcro. As you can see from that, I've done a whole series of new cards for the Rival range, and what that has done is obviously it's altered the positions that they are in their actual price divisions, and also the overall fit-to-box pound for pound list. All of this, of course, that is on my website, fit2boxchannel.com, where I place all of these gloves in order. And I am really, really happy with where I have placed in the price divisions all of the Rival gloves that I have reviewed. So check out my website, fit2boxchannel.com, where you will see the positions of all of those gloves in the price divisions and see how they stack up against the competition currently here in 2026. Some of these gloves obviously I reviewed a good number of years ago, and of course it's only right that I go back, and if I do think there's a little bit of a realignment that needs doing, that I should do that and not just hold them to the score that I initially give all those years ago, especially given as these have performed so well for my friend over all of those years and all of those rounds. I've seen firsthand how these hold up, and so they thoroughly deserved to increase in their scores, and obviously that then reflected on the rest of the Rival range as well. So I hope you enjoyed that. Please like and subscribe to Fit2Box, and I shall speak to you soon.